Creating projects in Sustain. The Sustain tool works on the principle of the creation of projects, and within those projects, versions. So what we're going to quickly look at is how you set up a new project. As you can see here, I have a single project called Sustain Project. If I want to create a new one from scratch, I click this green button here, and this gives me two choices. I can either create a new one totally from scratch, which is this lower button here, or I can create a copy of an existing one. Now this is a useful feature. For example, I could copy the one I already have because I may want to run another project through which is very similar to the one I already have, or many that I have in Sustain. And it allows me to do that quickly, easily, and I don't have to spend time inputting all the data from scratch. So if you've just got a few small changes to make in a project to create a new one, use the copy function. Otherwise, you create from scratch. So if I create from scratch, and you're met with this screen here, project title is free text. So it's up to you what you put in there. This is purely an aide-memoire really to allow you to specify what type of point of purchase or display equipment it is. So let's say this one is an aisle bay, and again free text in here. I can type whatever I like. So you can see you can put whatever you want in there. Again, that's for your use. Now, once I've created a project, I have to create a version within that project. A project cannot have 0 versions. So I create my first one. So let's again say version 1. That's free text. Again, description of whatever it is you want to write in there. Now the quantity is again more of an aide-memoire, because what Sustain does is it calculates the environmental impacts of a single unit, and those are the results you will see. But you might say, for this particular work, I'm going to create 1,000 of these units. And again, what we say here is it a finished product? So this allows you to put what if scenarios into Sustain. So if I say yes, it's a finished product, which means I am going to create this product, it is going to be sold. I could put, if this was purely an exercise in what if, or a design exercise to just see what the impact of something might be, if I decide to make it, I would click no there. So again, this is just something that allows information to be sorted at a later date. So let's say I am going to make this one. And now I have to define where I'm making it and where it's going to. So in this particular scenario, I'm going to say I will make it, there's a list of countries here that you can pick from, or regions. So let's say, just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to make this one out in China, but my end customer is here in the UK. Sustain automatically fills in this box here. So it says a general distance from China to UK, if you're shipping items across, will usually be by sea, and it's about 11,600 miles using standard shipping routes. You can overwrite this if you like. So if you know it's different, you can put another figure in. You can also add in extra road stages. So again, if you know this, you can say, well, I know from China factory to the port is 300 miles. And then when it gets to the UK, there's another 100 miles up to my distribution center or to my customer. So that'll be another total of 400 miles. So you can build those as you see fit. But Sustain will give you a kind of a default if you don't know, and that's a kind of an average distance. Quantity of products, this is used in some of the calculations. So this is how many of a product you will get into a specific vehicle or container for delivery. So if they were coming across in standard 40-foot shipping containers, you might get 35 in there. If it's flat pack, you might get a lot more in there. So this is where this becomes important in terms of sustainability. The more products I can fit into a vehicle or container, the better I might score with some of the scores that Sustain gives us. So quantity of products, I will say I can put 50 per vehicle or container, and then I press save. If this now takes me into developing the project, but I'll just go back to my projects here, and you will see that I now have a new one, which is title. Now, just to show, if I decided I wanted to create something based on a copy of an existing one, so let's create a project. I want to copy an existing one. Let's say the Sustain project, click continue. And now we have, again, if you see here, a copy of Sustain project has been created, and it's put me straight into entering data. But if I go back to my projects, you can now see I have 3. So the one I've made from scratch, which is this one, and the one I copied from Sustain, the lower one, and it's an identical copy at the moment, so you can go in and then edit. So I'm just going to, and if you want to remove a project, you press the delete. Sustain will ask you, are you sure? Because once you've deleted it, it deletes permanently. Click OK, and that one has now gone. So that's how you create projects and versions within Sustain.